not any particular one. And then I said, and they confirm each other. Has it been verified? Yes, because we have all these hundreds of millions of pictures, right? They confirm each other. You said, does every single one, is there one that doesn't confirm? And I said, I don't think so, no. You tried to find one that doesn't confirm. This is not an example, but you thought maybe it would be, and that's where we are.
All right, so what's the difference between you saying shape of the earth and globe?
Okay, dude, it's not that hard to. I don't keep repeating. What we
he's
see
trying
on
to
the
look about
ISS,
semantics.
what we see on the ISS confirms what we would see on a
You're
globe.
doing it.
Why is that so hard to understand? Keep fucking repeating your question.
If you look at all the pictures from space, you're going to get one picture of the globe. I'm sorry, of the sphere of the Earth, right? You're going to get a very clear model. It is a sphere, and you're going to get some pictures are going to be very close with wide-angle lenses, and you're going to have to check to see does anything in this picture contraindicate that it's a globe, and you'll say, no, this fits. Okay. Then you'll have pictures that are a million miles away where you see the entire hemisphere. Does anything in that picture contraindicate? Does anything in there contradict the idea of globe? Nope. Okay, that fits. Then you're going to find that as you go through all million pictures, they're all going to fit. And the picture is going to be, the final result is going to be, it is a sphere.
Percent. You want to know how I predicted what you're going to post? It's because all you flat earthers repeat the same fucking garbage over and over again. And I told you, man, you just try to change yours up, but it's the same pig, just with a bit of lipstick.
Yo, Scott, so if you're maintaining that this is a picture from space, how do you know it's a picture from space if it's an ultra-wide angle lens that you can't actually show it?
You told me it was a picture from the ISS. You told me that.
Yeah, so it is ISS footage. Are you denying that?
Okay, so you told me that it was from space. Yes, you said this is a picture from the ISS in space. I said okay, so that's where we're at.
I didn't say it was from space. I said this is ISS footage. That it could be either true or fabricated.
So what are you asking me? Do I think the ISS is in space? Yes. Do you think it's space?
So my question is, since you're maintaining this is from space, how come they can't?
I didn't maintain it from space, dude. Why are you being so disingenuous? You told me it was from the ISS, and I accepted that.
That's not the point of
is the ISS in space or not?
What was that question?
I think
percent?
so, yeah. Don't you?
What was this question, Mr. Scott? Hold on, I didn't get to hear Percent's question. What did you say, Percent?
The question is, because this ISS footage has an ultra-wide fisheye lens, which you can't even gauge whether the horizon is flat or curved, because it's completely manipulated, distorted.
You can work from the specs of that lens. What's the problem with working from the specs with that lens?
I mean, you could.
Not a problem.
Maybe. Go ahead and do that. The question I was asking is if you're in space, like how do you know you're in space? How do you know the ISS is in space if you don't even know whether the horizon's flat or curved in that photo?
How is that relevant to our discussion? How are you not just thrashing?
Because if you're in space, shouldn't you see the curve?
No, why? It depends how far away you are.
Would you see the curve from the ISS?
What kind of question is that?
You know where you
It's a very simple question. Would you see the curve from the height of the ISS?
I just gave you your answer, Percent. And why are you trying to do anything you can to get away from the topic? Why are you thrashing like this?
You're maintaining that this is proof. It adds to the proof that it's a globe. I'm asking you how that's the case because you're maintaining it's in space.
Millions of pictures of space I maintain the millions of pictures from space are direct evidence of the fact that this Earth is a sphere.
If you track
it's a really
path
simple
of the ISS,
would you see the curve from
the globe,
the space of the ISS, like from the height of the ISS?
It depends on the angle that you look at the Earth.
Depends on the angle. So if you're looking at the horizon, you may or may not see curve.
If you look straight down, you'll just have the Earth in your field of view. What's the point of this question?
You're seeing the edge.
You're just looking at Earth if you look straight down. What's the point of the question now?
I didn't say straight down. I'm saying you're looking at the horizon.
I told you it depends on the angle.
I know, and I'm saying the horizon. So is the horizon curved?
So if you look at the horizon from the ISS, you'll see a curve. You'll see a curve. You'll see a curved horizon.
Wait, we got a problem.
That's your position?
Well, it's not exactly the horizon, but yeah, that's my position.
Can you prove
How
that?
could it not be curved? How could it not be curved? What are you looking at? He said it's the horizon.
Even if it was a flat plane, it'd be curved. That's the hilarious thing.
Yeah, that is the hilarious thing. So it's an argument from ignorance to say that it is curved, even if you don't know if it's a flat plane.
No, that's not what argument from ignorance means, and it's curved in both cases. So
argument from ignorance is saying that this thing because we can't prove that it's not.
That's not true. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what it means anyway.
Not curved.
And what curve said is correct.
You go to the University of Colorado State.
Hold on, Habapati, hold on.
Sure.
Curve, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, if you go to the Colorado State University.
Fuck's
No,
sake,
okay.
You said curve, go ahead.
Okay, my bad.
The horizon cannot be straight unless you can explain to me how it would be. Tell me how the horizon is not part of the circle around you. Tell me how that circle can be straight.
If it's a flat plane, then it could be straight.
No. Even on a flat Earth, the horizon is a circle around you. This is what's so laughable right now.
Yeah,
I can't believe
a circle
you're
around
arguing
you that at your eye level, or what have you, that is straight. Doesn't matter if you're looking at, regardless of the direction you're looking at, it's still straight.
No.
Yes.
Take a flat disc. Take a hula hoop. Put it at eye level.
Yeah.
It looks straight. Lower it, and then you begin to see more and more of the curvature.
Okay, so can you actually show that that's what's happening at the ISS?
And the ISS is
curved. Would you maintain that if you have a hula hoop all the way around your head,
the live feed of the ISS,
while it's straight, it's still going in a circle around your head?
And
exactly, so it's straight.
Why would you argue that the lens is what's making it curve?
I'm not arguing. That's the ISS's position. Look at the link that Hip Hoppity posted. They say it's an ultra-wide fisheye lens which curves the Earth. So you can't say it's a curved Earth if it's not the ground is curved. You can't say that.
I can say that. And
because if you say that the ground is curved, and all you know is that the horizon is curved because of this ultra-wide fisheye lens, you don't know whether it's a flat Earth or a curved Earth, then to say that the Earth is curved just from that is an argument from ignorance. It's literally a non-sequitur.
Oh my God, you're not understanding what he's saying.
Now listen, you've already agreed that the horizon is a circle, no? Or are you going back on that?
No, the horizon's all the way around you.
Okay, then how could that not be curved?
Again,
always look curved.
Unless you're talking about we're talking about side to side curve right now when we're talking about horizon. We're not talking about
we're talking about looking down from the ISS of the horizon. That was what your thought experiment was. Exactly. So we're 200 miles up. We're looking down at the Earth, and if it's a circle around us, it's going to look curved, right?
If it's a globe, then it would look curved because you're not looking at the horizon. You're looking at the curvature of the Earth. But if it's just the horizon and it's been manipulated with the fisheye lens, it's been distorted.
No, on your to your natural eyes, what would it look like? On a flat plane, natural eyes.
It would just be a line.
Wrong. It's a circle around.
No, because again, it's the horizon. It's not the curvature of the Earth that you're talking about.
It's the circle around you, though.
You ever been on a basketball court percentage?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, you know, at center court, you got the tiny little circle where the guys stand for the tip-off to start the game. Then you got the bigger circle around it that other guys have to stand outside of for that tip-off. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
Now, when you're standing there in the center of the court, looking at that circle around you, it's flat because it's a circle, but it's also curved because it's a circle. And you see the curvature of that circle. Now lay down with your eyes on the fucking court. Get close to the same plane of the circle. It's not going to look so curved now, is it?
Do you think that this is
answer my question, please?
Adequate? No.
Don't ask me a question. Answer mine.
No, I'm telling you that you're wrong because it's a false analogy. Do you think that that's representative of what the horizon is?
He's asking a question.
No, I know he's asking about actual physical locations, like two lines of paint on the floor meeting each other. Okay. But that's not what the horizon is. The horizon is an apparent position, like an apparent location where the ground seems to meet the sky depending on your perspective. So it's a false analogy. Nice try.
All right, you are either mentally incapable or you're just intellectually dishonest to the point that there's
you're the one that's trying to make a false analogy.
Yes.
No, it's not a false analogy.
It is a false analogy.
It's a circle. You already admitted it's a circle around you, just like the paint.
It's an apparent circle. It's not an actual.
It doesn't matter if it's apparent or not. What does apparent have to do with it?
No, it does matter because if it was a concrete one, then you'd be able to ride above it.
Both apparent. They're both apparent. The paint is apparent also. The paint is apparent also.
let me finish. If it was just purely like the horizon, if it was a true analogy, then it would be an apparent position, and your perspective would still govern what you're seeing, right? You wouldn't be able to rise above it as if it's a concrete thing. But he's talking about paint on a court, on a basketball court, which is a concrete thing that isn't an apparent position depending on your perspective.
It's apparent.
So you could rise above it, and you could see that it falls below.
It's an apparent. When you look at the paint on the court, it's also apparent.
No,
you're looking at through an atmosphere.
No, it's not. It's not actually there.
There could be refraction. There could be refraction going on. There could be all kinds of things. It's an apparent circle.
And now you're just trying to conflate and confound the term apparent.
I'm telling you the truth.
Trying to make it semantic
and now I'm telling you the truth. Let me finish, please. And they're both circles around you. That's the key. So if the line that you draw for the horizon is a circle around you, which it is, you've already agreed to that. And if it's a circle around you, then when you're up 200 miles and you look down on it, just like the court, just like the paint on the court, you're going to see it curve from left to right. That's true whether it was a flat plane or a globe.
Okay, real quick, I'm going to nip your semantic argument in the bud. So you're using the word apparent as if it just means like readily seen or like, something that's easily visible. No. And I'm using it as something that appears in such a way, but it's not actually
exactly
what
he said. Yeah, that's how I'm using it.
False analogy, Mr. Scott. You can't compare
it. It works perfect.
You're talking about a physical line versus the horizon,
circle around you. Yeah, but you don't even need the analogy. It's a circle around you, and anything that's a circle around you, when you look down on it, it's going to have this property. Look, this is just basic geometry.
Actual thing. Just think about it. It's a concrete, tangible thing. But if it's not, does it just look how like your perspective works, then that's not going to be the case.
Does it look like a circle? Of course, it is still going to be the case.
No, it's not.
And the problem would have been,
the horizon is an apparent place with the ground seems beneath the sky.
Prove it's going to be different for some reason. Give me some argument as to why it would be different.
Or how about you show that it's different?
Well, how about you give me any kind of explanation for your claim? You've made this claim that it's going to be different.
So prove it.
No, you're claiming it's different. I'm saying it's the same.
I mean, you're saying you're claiming it's the same. So prove it.
So give me some evidence that this is going to be different. You've made this assertion. It makes no sense.
Well, one way we can show you that it's different is we can show the basketball line would never change its position in the basketball court.
It will change its position.
That's what we want. That's what we can say. It will stay the same distance from the observer. That will never change. But your horizon will change constantly, so you can't compare them.
No, as you go higher and higher, the distance between you and the paint will change.
You don't have to go higher for the horizon to change.
The position of that paint's going to change.
Mr. Scott, you don't have to go higher for the horizon to change. That's the point.
You don't have to go higher for that. Yeah, you don't have to go higher for the book. You don't have to go higher for the paint to change either. Remember, the paint's going through the atmosphere, same as the horizon.
No, if you go higher, you will see beyond.
It's just not. It's not just horizons. Yeah. Everything in the world is subject to things like refraction. Everything.
M. Scott, is the horizon a variable or not?
The horizon is a circle around you.
Does it vary?
It depends. Yeah, it's a function of where you are, and sorry. Go ahead, Overshot.
I'm just posting live footage from the ISS. Now, either the ISS is in space, or they've got fucking billions upon trillions of dollars for special effects.
What makes you think it'll take that much money?
And that will work well.
Are you retarded?
Have you seen what the budget is for a science fiction movie to do the special effects?
Yeah, not trillions.
Yeah. Well, no, this is live footage from the ISS. So either it's live footage, or because it's 24/7 live footage, they must have trillions of dollars for the special effects. If this is all fake.
If you say so. Anyways, getting back to what we were saying, Scott.
We know how much special effects cost, and if you look at the live footage, you can see a spherical Earth, or at least
and the horizon in that image is not the same as curved circle. You do realize
also
that.
Also, the 1 hour
right?
video
we just talked about how it's an ultra wide fisheye lens.
I think you're incorrect about that.
Well, Mr. Scott, when you move forward towards that paint line, you will eventually go past it, right? And that paint line will be behind you. But the horizon, you will never ever meet the physical location of that horizon, right?
You're overstretching.
Well, there's a lot of differences, but those aren't relevant differences. The relevant thing is that they're both circles around you. And if you look down in a circle around you, it's going to have this
another fallacy. Cherry picking.
If it looks like a circle, then if it appears to be a circle, then it's going to have this property because this property is a function of its appearance.
But our circle will be big enough to reach the horizon. So we're going to paint a circle around us from our observational point and where we see the horizon. Okay. So when we obviously move, that paint circle will still be there, but the horizon will move in front of us. How are you comparing the two?
You just need to So you just repaint the circle. So just imagine that the way we're doing this is that you have someone repainting the circle every time you move. So it matches the horizon. The point, though, is that if something looks like a circle when you look down on it, if you're in the center of a circle of something when you look down, if it appears to be a circle, then as a function of that appearance, it's going to have this property that we're talking about.
Did you say repaint the circle every time?
I did say repaint the circle.
Yeah.
Why can't you just be true and say, yeah, it was a false analogy? It doesn't apply.
Exactly.
Okay, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, percent, because it isn't a false analogy, and because you're the one that's sitting here trying to claim that the horizon wouldn't be curved in this way, even on a flat plane, and you're wrong about that. You know you're wrong about that, and yet you're digging in.
It wouldn't, because the horizon is apparent position. If it's flat, then it wouldn't be curved.
Position doesn't change this property. If it looks like a circle when you look down on it, it's going to have this property.
Yeah, but why
again, it does.
5%.
But I don't see how you can reject this photo on this basis anyway, because any photograph is going to have some barrel distortion from the lens of the camera. And if you're just going to reject it simply because of that, when we know what the lens of the camera was, we can easily stick this footage in some software that would correct for that barrel distortion if we wanted to. It's not a problem.
Okay, can someone do that?
And plus, we singled out one single piece of footage and seem to be assessing the entire output of the ISS based on this one. Few seconds of footage from this image, and I just don't see how that's a logical argument anyway.
Because if the footage is true, if the footage is verifiably true and reliable, then you shouldn't have any parts that don't add up.
It does add up.
Anything
nebulous. It's exactly as we would expect from a camera using this sort of lens.
Gem,
which you said that they admitted they used. They didn't admit it. They stated it. I think that's important.
So they admit that they use an ultra-wide lens.
No, they stated
same thing.
So it doesn't contradict.
I didn't say they confess as if it's like a huge crime.
Well, why is it an admission? Why is it an admission and not a statement?
Fine, they stated it's not. That's not a big deal. But let me ask you, Jem, straight up, in terms of proof of or evidence of a globe, knowing that it uses an ultra-wide fisheye lens at the horizon, is this evidence for a globe?
Yes. Why would it not be?
How can you know that?
Would just the use of the lens make it not viable?
Because the horizon is distorted. You don't know whether it's actually flat or curved.
All cameras, well, I do. All cameras use a lens, right?
Of course.
Right, so all cameras are going to have some sort of distortion from the lens, unless it's a rectilinear lens that's specifically designed not to do that. But usually there's going to be some form of barrel distortion, isn't there?
Yeah, but without having put this in software to show what it would be without being distorted, how can you say as a fact that it is proof or evidence of a globe?
Well, because I'm confident that if I did put it in such software, it would still show a curve.
Yeah, and but you haven't done that, right?
And I've got reason. Well, no, I haven't. I've got.
Okay, so you're assuming.
Why would I bother? Well, no, I'm not. Because there's thousands of hours of footage from the ISS that isn't taken with this particular lens. You're just pretending. Pretending that this is the entire output of the ISS. No, I don't know why. It's clearly not.
Yeah, I asked you about this image.
Silly argument.
It's not faulty, dude. If we know what the lens is, then we know. If we know what the lens is, then we know what it's doing. And if we know what it's doing, then it's not faulty. It just takes what we expect it to depict.
But you can make the same argument about you can make this same argument about the use of any any camera. You could say, oh, well, lenses distort the image, so it could be the lens.
But Jem, that's not what I asked you. I asked you specifically about this image, and I asked you if it was proof of the globe, or evidence of the globe, and you said yes. I said, how do you know?
Yes.
Popping it into that software, and you said you have confidence.
Because I have confidence.
You don't know, right?
I have. Yes, I do know. I have a justified true belief that.
No, it's not justified true because you haven't popped it into the software, have you?
You don't need to pop it in the software, %. Stop being a troll, dude.
I know.
You do actually, without relying on any other.
Do not actually. We know what the lens is. We know what the lens is. We know how it was taken. We know what the height was. We know what to expect it to look like. It looks as it's expected to look. It confirms the globe. It doesn't need to be manipulated further in order to be proven. It looks as we expect it to look.
So what are the specifications of a lens, Veach? What are the specifications of a lens?
I can make that assessment just by looking at it. If I want to go further and check it, if I'm believing like you, I can make that effort, but I'm not going to. If you're saying that you need to have made that effort to be making the claims that you're making, right?
I'm simply showing, Jem, that you're lacking skepticism in this, and you haven't actually. You're just believing it without actual evidence. Because you don't know whether the lens, you don't know the specifications of the lens, and whether or not the fisheye lens has such a wide distortion or whatever that it is curving a flat surface or a curved surface. You don't actually know this.
We do know the specifications.
So in and of itself, no, but you're relying on other evidence. You're relying on what you think. One second, you're relying about what you think you know about from other pieces of evidence. But in and of itself, this picture does not show that at all. And to maintain that, it
shows a curve. It shows a curve. The curve is distorted by the lens, but that's true of every picture ever taken of it, right?
How do you know that it's not a line that turned into a curve?
So at what degree do we start rejecting images? What lens is good enough and what lens isn't good enough? This is an arbitrary line that you're drawing.
No, it's really not. I'm saying you have to pop it into the software to know for a fact that it is showing a globe. You haven't done that, so you don't know for a fact.
No, you don't. You don't need to do that.
Thereby meaning you're assuming. And to claim it as fact is a non sequitur.
Assuming.
I'm basing it on my experience. I'm basing it on what they've said about the lens and my experience of other images taken with wide-angle lenses.
Okay, so what do they say about the lens that makes you think that it's definitely not flat?
Well, I can't remember specifically what was said, but I heard somebody mention that it was an ultra-wide-angle lens, and I think the dimensions of it, right?
So it's between 15 and 20 degrees.
So
it's between 15 and 20 millimeters. That's what ultra-wide means. Between 5 and 20.
Who fucking cares? He's still going back to arguing that the horizon could be a straight line.
It's dumb.
It gets farther and farther away from you in your periphery. That's
it also has nothing to do with the original point, which is that there's millions of pictures in space that together confirm its shape.
Yes,
it has nothing to do with any of that. But
not any of it.
These further confirm. Dude. Sorry, they do.
No.
And I think to reject an image just because it was used as a fisheye lens is that's ridiculous. We can calculate.
Why do you want to treat every piece of evidence in isolation?
We can calculate what it would look like without that anyway. And I think you leave yourself, percentage, in this position of where you have no option but to be ignorant of almost everything, because every form of evidence you reject unless you've personally gone and collected it yourself. And that
not me personally.
That means your destiny is ignorance.
So, Jem, this for me to believe that this is evidence requires two things. Number one, I have to give them the benefit of the doubt that if it wasn't a fisheye lens, that it would be a curve. And number two, I have to give them the benefit of the doubt.
You can check that yourself. You don't have to give them the benefit of the doubt. You could check that.
I do actually, because who knows what kind of lens they're. Who knows what kind of lens they're actually using?
Told you what lens.
Who knows whether it was like
you check it.
Post-processing or not?
Figure out what the lens should show you and check to see what it does.
Right.
Yeah, they could say any type of lens. They could say that wasn't post-processed.
Yes.
Who knows whether it is? It could be
yes, and
CGI
it'll either
after
match
the
what they
fact.
say.
Who
It'll
knows?
either match what they say or it won't, and that's what you can check.
Yeah, but do you agree that I would have to give them the benefit of the doubt in this context?
No, I do not agree. I just told you why you don't have to do that.
You could
Actually,
ask questions like that right after you get explained why you don't have to. It's as if you don't hear anything. Think about it like this. Think about it like this. This is the last thing I'll say on the subject. Let me just say one thing and I'll be done. If a lens does something really funky to it, okay? Let's say a lens does reverses the colors, twists the image up, it swirls the image around and puts ears on the thing, okay? Like a Snapchat. Okay, let's say it does something ridiculous. Now, if I know what the lens does, though, okay, I know what it's supposed to do. Then and it takes a picture of the globe or the Earth from space, and I get it, and it's this weird, twisted up, colors inverted with ears on it thing, and I say, does this confirm the globe? Well, if it does, if I look at this thing and I know what this lens is supposed to do to it, and then I see that this is exactly what a globe would look like when passed through this lens, then it confirms the globe. That's all you need to be able to do. You don't need to take the one picture and do anything else with it. You just need to say, is this what we expect to see using this lens at this distance, taking a picture of this thing? Does it match our other pictures? And if the answer is yes, then the answer is confirmed.
Peach, would I have to take their word for it when they say that the lens that they're using is the lens the lens that they're using is this lens?
No, because you could check to see does it match with you use their lens. They say check to see if it matches, and if it doesn't, then something's wrong.
How can I check to see that?
Well, you know what lenses do, right? We have a mathematical understanding of what the lens is doing to an image. So if they say it's a 5mm lens, well, you can look at an image that's a 50mm lens, and then you know what to expect the change will be, right? You know how would I know that? So then you do that kind of mathematically, geometry.
How would I know what it's supposed to look like up there?
You've got to calculate.
How would I have to
The question is, do they match? The question is matching, confirming, right? That's what we've been talking about this whole time.
You have to have a control, right? So how would I be able to compare it?
You don't need a control. You don't need a control. We're just asking if they match each other. Do they match each other? That's the whole point of this entire thing is, do they confirm each other?
You're talking about the different images of, that. Well, that's all what we're talking about right now. Right now, we're talking about this one image where they say that they're using this lens. And I'm saying, how can I confirm that the lens that they're saying they're using is the one that they're using? And also, how can I confirm when they say that they haven't post-processed it or done any CGI? How can I confirm that without taking their word for it?
Well, if it matches the other pictures,
you've got to take their word for it.
They told you is correct. If they matches the other pictures, then you know the lens that they told you is correct, because otherwise it wouldn't match. And in terms of post-processing, I guess, you can probably do some tests for that, but you probably can't do every test. Maybe a professional could, but you probably couldn't. But what does that mean to you? If your point is,
you have to take their word for it, would that kill you to admit?
He just said
this is what I think the right way to say it.
No, not when you word. He tries to shy against.
Hold on, percent. Do you think you could stop interrupting and just listen to what I'm trying to say? The way I would say it is like this. Every picture from space, every single one of them could be faked. Okay? Every picture from anywhere could be faked. Every single image we've ever received on TV, in photographs, whatever you name it, all of it could be faked. So on some level, we have to take the word of the people that are telling us the picture that it isn't faked, because they all could be. And so, yes, in that sense, yes, it could be. We have to take their word that they didn't do anything fakery to it. But that's true for everything always. Every single piece of evidence we ever get could be faked.
Yeah, but not to the same degree.
The point is then, Mr. Scott, if you're saying then, I think his point is if we have to take this word for it, then how is that proof? I think is that what he's saying to Jem or to you, is that how is this proof if by the end of the day, hold on, Mr. Scott. By the end of the day, if you're giving the explanation and you're saying this, but at the end of the day, we still have to take the word for it, right? Or his word or your word. So how is that proof?
It's not proof. I just told you, it's not proof.
Or let me rephrase Chemo's thing. So with everything on TV that we see, like if I'm watching some guy, real quick,
doing the talking, interrupting Chemo, but Chemo tried to blame Scott. That's what it sounded like to me.
Okay, so Scott, you said everything that we see could be faked, right? So if I'm seeing some guy,
his point is not been addressed.
Can not hear anybody?
Chemo needs to understand that he needs to answer this. Why did you do that, Chemo?
Well, I'm rephrasing Chemo's question. I hope you don't take any offense, Chemo.
Wait a second.
You're out of turn, man. You
let Chemo
No,
respond.
dude, you are.
Chemo, this is not time to be silent, dude.
I'm not in the room right now. I'm making a callback. I was just there saying what percent.
Get near your microphone, Chemo.
Yeah, I'm back in a sec. Carry on, percent.
Yeah,
so I'm saying, in terms of what Scott was saying about seeing all of these things and everything could be faked, we can, like, if I'm watching some kind of like some guy dirt biking on TV or something like that, I can like verify that sort. I could verify what dirt biking is like. Or if he has like a GoPro or something like that, I can see that stuff. I could verify myself or anyone else could. Yes, we could.
Okay, if you say so. No, you can't. I mean, it all can be faked. It all can be faked. That's the point.
But my point is, there's varying levels, the varying degrees of fakery and of trust that you'd have to give into it, right? So for that thing, which is something that's easily verifiable, something that's on terra firma, that is true form, more realistic. It's very. It requires a lot less faith. Wait, 1 second.
No,
it requires a lot less. Please don't interrupt me. It takes a lot less faith. Sorry, to assume it's true than it does for something that you can't verify at all, which is
I disagree.
This ISS stuff.
I disagree. I think everything could be faked. And that's, if you're gonna invoke how we have to trust them or it might be faked, then that's true, because you have to invoke that every single time you look at any piece of evidence, photographs and other kinds of evidence. Everything you get from anybody on some level could be faked. And
but not to the same degree.
I thought we weren't interrupting. But you have to have some base level of trust. And I don't think this to some degree thing is very interesting or relevant. It's going to be subjective. It's going to be different people are going to have different answers for different things. The point is that it's all in the realm of you have to assume that they're not lying when they say they didn't fake this, or that they are not faking everything that you get.
Okay.
If you find evidence of fakery, sure, you can explore that. But with Hassan's evidence, you assume that things are true.
All right. So you said that you don't think that the varying degrees are relevant, but would you still agree that even though it might not be relevant, that the degrees of which how much faith you have to put into something do and can vary?
Not really. No. Like for photographs, if I have a photograph, I don't think any photograph is harder to fake than another photograph. They're all equally sort of difficult or easy to fake.
So if you had a photograph of the Milky Way galaxy versus a photograph of a cat, you would say that they're equally believable, that they take equal amounts of trust to believe?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hold on. So you're saying, Mrs. Scott, if someone took a picture of a galaxy, I mean, I think Nathan showed it yesterday with Snoop Dogg's reefer, where they zoomed in on the reefer and it looked like a black hole or something from another world, and then they pulled away and it was just Snoop Dogg with a reefer. You're saying that you would just believe this black hole or this light in the sky because someone said this is space?
No, I said that they would all photographs, no matter what they are equally likely to be fake. They're equally hard to fake. So if you want to say, do you have to trust the photograph? All photographs have to have some level of trust. None of them are especially hard to fake compared to others. Photographs are all basically equally easy to fake.
No, but if you've got a picture of the cosmos and a picture of a cat, which is more believable?
Well, they're both equally easy to fake, is my point. That's what we're saying right now.
A fake cat.
Yeah. They're both equally easy to fake.
Someone takes a picture of a cat and fakes. What?
Which is to say that neither photo, in the absence of someone saying it's fake or in the absence of some reason to think it's fake, I would not think either one is fake. I would be inclined to think that they're true. If someone says, oh, this is a picture I took of the Milky Way. Oh, here's a picture I took of my cat. I'd say I would be inclined to think both of those two pictures are equally likely to be true.
And I've seen both with my naked eyes, so yeah.
Is that because people have taken pictures of cosmoses like that before?
No, I don't think that's why, no.
No, I'm saying, what's your reason for trusting that this would be like a galaxy or whatever?
I think
because I've seen galaxies with my own eyes.
No, but it's the same basic trust I have with any picture. Like if somebody says to me, this is a picture of XYZ, then sans evidence that they're lying, sans evidence that it's fake, then I know that there's a chance it's fake, but I'm not inclined to pursue that chance for any reason. If it looks reasonable, which they all do, then I'm inclined to accept them at their word when they say, this is not fake. This is a picture I took with this lens at this time of Venus, or whatever it is.
I posted some images for you, question mark.
Percent.
Yeah. Percentage, sorry.
Not a question mark.
He's questionable, but he's at the same.
Nope, those are real. They're real pictures.
I can post again.
I like the duck one. That's great.
Yeah, but you wouldn't say that's
the
cat.
bear.
This is your universe, right? Your cosmos.
The cat was never there, Spurs.
There is no cat, Spurs.
This, I posted images presented.
Yeah, what am I looking at?
Funk posted images just now.
I think you're actually proving Percent's point that this is not evidence then. You have a picture of the Earth. Not good evidence.
This is...
Look what's happened. It's very bad evidence, said Mr. Scott. Look at this. So you're saying you'd believe that's the real cat from Scott?
No, I said that they're equally likely to be fake. So they're equally easy to fake.
You got a picture of like this of a cat and a picture of the Earth. Which one is real? And why do you suppose it to be true? Which one is true more than the other? Which one do you believe more than the other?
What we were saying was that if a picture is likely, can a picture be fake? The answer is yes. Can any picture be fake? The answer is yes. Are all pictures equally difficult to fake? The answer is yes. That's what we were saying.
No.
These are examples of pictures.
No, Mr. Scott, that's not what he said. Go ahead, Percent.
True. That's what I said. Equal amounts of difficulty to fake it. It was the equal amounts of faith that you have to put into it to believe it's true.
But that has nothing to do with it.
They require equal amounts of faith, and I said no. The faith levels, there's to varying degrees.
Well, I said that the faith would be subjective, and I don't think it's really that relevant to the question.
Yeah, of course, you said it wasn't relevant, but I asked you, even though it's not relevant,
because for example, if I see a picture of say my parents, and then someone says, "Oh, this is a picture of parents," well, I'm going to have a certain level of confidence about that. And if somebody shows me a picture of their parents who I've never met, well, there's going to be some extra doubt there because I've never seen them before. So in that kind of sense, there's going to be a difference, but it's going to be idiosyncratic to me, and it's going to be subjective.
Okay, so the degrees of faith can vary. The amount of faith can vary.
Not in a way that I think is relevant and matters.
But it can vary, whether it's like subjective or not. It can vary, right?
Not in a way that matters.
Oh man!
At least Scott can say he doesn't rely on spidey senses to verify this stuff, like some people.
That's just another way to say it, man.
He does rely on his spider sense. He says he has
when it hits your bullshit meter, that's your spider sense.
He says he has to just trust them and believe what they say. That's his spider sense. He hasn't validated the photo himself, so he's just trusting his senses.
No, I'm not trusting. We're not talking about trusting photos. No one's saying that, Kimo.
It's not good evidence, then, is it? How is it good evidence?
No, I'm saying that it's a picture. I'm telling you, the pictures, the original discussion was the millions of pictures from space all confirm each other. And if you look at the body of work, it tells us the shape of the planet. Now, that's this original statement. That's good evidence, and that's true.
And we've just concluded if you just believe them. Good evidence if you just believe, if you have enough faith in what they're telling you.
Well, it's direct empirical evidence. It's photographs from many different sources.
It's not really direct because you're not the one seeing it yourself, right?
Exactly.
It's indirect.
But there are people who have seen these things, can verify them themselves.
Yeah, and then you're taking their account for them, which is, again, indirect information.
Yeah, and there's nobody saying contradicting the body of evidence.
What are you talking about? That's what flat earthers are.
Yeah, but they don't do it reasonably. They just rely on spidey senses. Spidey senses are not admittable as any kind of proof or evidence for anything.
Forget
you just
take our real sense.
Before we move on, percent.
Azar, you use your spider senses when you twist.
Just so you know, a photograph is direct evidence, though. Your idea that a photograph is indirect evidence is incorrect. I don't know where you get these ideas from. Photograph is direct physical evidence. Okay?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
If I take a photo with an ultra-wide fisheye lens and it distorts the horizon, that's not direct evidence of anything. That's just direct.
A photograph is direct physical evidence, dude. I'm telling you, it is. You just need to look the words up. All right, here, let me look.
Your eyes also distort stuff, so you can't trust your eyes equally. If you're going to use that argument,
even your eyes are not direct evidence.
But you would have to reject.
It's going through a lens.
You would have to reject all photographs or state a point at which photographs should be rejected on the basis of the use of the lens. Because this is very arbitrary. It's all arbitrary, isn't it? So fisheye lens fake. No, got to do better.
That's necessarily fake. It's just that it's not evidence, right?
So percent.
In and of itself, it's not evidence. You have to provide.
So percent. I just looked it up. And it says here, and there are several different types of direct evidence. Direct physical evidence is often limited to things like photos or videotapes, which show the crime taking place. This is a legal definition. Eyewitness testimony can also be considered direct evidence, as can a witness testifying to personally seeing or hearing an event. So photos and videos are absolutely direct physical evidence.
Unless they violate science, but carry on.
What are the other types of direct evidence?
A person's testimony.
Witness accounts, yeah. The surveyors will say, yeah, we verify their curvature, but obviously they haven't. But it's not good evidence, Mr. Scott.
Thanks, Timo. You're not really helping.
You're seeing that we're seeing all kinds of anomalies in all the pictures. You're saying that they all compare. They don't match up. You've got different shades, different sizes.
They do match colors. Up. Yeah, but those things we already addressed those things at the very beginning before you got here. There are differences between these pictures, but these differences are predicted by the lens or by the camera used or the CCD. They aren't what you would call just confirming differences.
Well, why are NASA using different cameras?
What do you mean, why are they using different cameras?
So what was wrong with the first camera and the lens that they had?
It didn't cover a wide enough angle of view.
How many years have they been doing? How many years have they been doing it? How many satellites have they put up? I mean, they've probably thousands and thousands and thousands of different cameras.
No, I'm saying so. They've got the blue marble. Whatever took that, why didn't they just where's that satellite continuing to take pictures of the Earth?
Yeah, well, that was taken by a person, and that was taken with a custom built thing. It was almost not even like a camera. But I don't know where that is now. It's a one-off thing. It's a one-off event, like object.
Typical.
Maybe to the museums.
Yeah, typical. I mean, if that's the picture that they're using over and over again, why would they just use that same camera and take...
Well, I'm talking about the original. By the way, I'm talking about the original 1979 one or 1972 one.
Real quick, in terms
they've
of...
done better ones since.
In terms of direct evidence, Scott, I wasn't talking about like the legal definition, like the dichotomy of direct evidence versus circumstantial evidence. I was talking about just evidence that was like straight from the source.
When you say direct evidence in the context of both law and in science, a photograph counts. That is direct physical evidence. That's something that relays the information to you directly.
Yeah, again, I didn't mean like direct evidence versus circumstantial evidence. I meant evidence that is direct, like that is, just straightforward.
You mean it's not personal? That's what you mean. You weren't there yourself.
I mean, straight from the source, like looking at a gift horse in the mouth.
So, like,
look, if you take a picture, it is straight from the source.
Like Scott's dad.
No, like rocket scientists, he's supposed to be able to verify these things, and he's not doing it. He said, "Oh, I can't go to this department. I can't show you that. This is classified." But he's not verifying anything. He's the guy that should be doing it, right?
It's the difference of looking at something and then looking at a picture of something.
I mean, you've made this thing up, but you're basically saying personal. You want things to be personal where you've seen them yourself.
No, just unfiltered.
Okay, so the bottom of the ocean
someone else can do
is what
it too.
Jim was saying, but when you do that, you just set yourself up for being stuck in ignorance.
Maybe.
I mean, for example, Mr. Scott,
I think that is where the flat Earth argument has gone. You know, this is what where I was talking to Witsit about this a couple of weeks ago, because all you're doing these days is just coming up with ways to disbelieve everything. And the problem is, if you're applying those standards, universally, you leave yourself in a situation where you just can't know anything. Pictures are no good. Accounts are no good. It can only be what you've personally experienced that you can know. And then the bigger problem is that if everybody applies your standard to this, you can't pass that information on to anyone. You can't. There's no way to accumulate knowledge for humanity to accumulate knowledge collectively, because everybody's got to do it from their personal point of view, and nothing can be believed. And I just think that's
I don't think we actually we don't know anything, do we? We believe, and you're trying to convince, NASA's trying to convince us that these pictures are real. Like they don't.
Why stop the Earth? Why aren't you a solipsist?
They don't know. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, in terms of what Jem was saying, I disagree. I think the distinguish, where you draw the line is whether or not it's verifiable. If anyone else can do it, if we can rely on past experiences or what we experience in life, and to back it up, to give it
and that's
credibility.
How you believe people.
Now, for the only thing we can do, for instance, a cat. The picture of a cat. I know what a cat is. Anyone can attest to seeing cats or what have you. It's there. It's true.
But again, a
picture of Milky Way galaxy. No one has that sort of verifiability that goes along with it. You have to.
You're dancing around it. What you're saying is you need to have personally experienced it. You need to have personally experienced the cat, right?
Anyone should be able to personally experience the cat to know it's true, and everyone does. That's why it's verifiable. Whereas the picture of the Milky Way galaxy or whatever galaxy or nebula or what have you, those aren't verifiable.
Just a handful of people know about this and can verify it.
You have to appeal to authority. You have to commit that policy.
But now verifiable has become something different, because anyone can see those pictures of a galaxy in the same way that anyone can see a cat.
Of course, it's evidence that it's a picture.
Anyone can look through a telescope and see that galaxy, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Nobody has. That's the point.
Oh, well, why can't they?
Because as far as I know, some of them were straight from Hubble or from other things that you needed a lot of distance to get it. I don't think you can visualize them, most of them from. It depends on which one you're talking about specifically.
But
from a telescope
not
on
true.
Earth,
you can easily see galaxies through a chip.
The thing is,
every galaxy that you can see on Earth, that they've ever imaged, it can be viewed on Earth.
No, why is that required? Why do you need to see every
That's what I'm saying. It depends on for one to be true. But that's why we have to be careful to say what specific galaxy we're talking about to see whether or not we can view it from Earth ourselves.
Generally,
more verifiable.
No, you're making it so we now have to talk about one specific one,
Not
like we did with the ISS, and then we can pretend that all images ever of galaxies are just this one specific one, and therefore they can be rejected. Like all out. Well, you are saying.
What I'm saying is we need to draw a line, right? The line is where it's verifiable. I would agree with you if we can look in telescopes. Yeah, so I would agree with you if we can look at in telescopes and see these, these nebulas or galaxies from the Earth, then it's more verifiable than if I have to appeal to the authority of NASA's Hubble or Discovery or something and rely on that image being true just because it's that satellite.
I mean, Jem, it's a very simple endeavor. I mean, I would say to you or Mr. Scott, do you believe the Earth is flat? You would say, well, no. I would say, why? You would say, well, we've got pictures from space. And then we would say, and this is the point now. We would say, well, how have you verified them? And you'll say, well, I just have to believe them at the end of the day. At the end of the day,
I absolutely wouldn't say that. And we've talked about this. I mean, you throw, again, I'll say this again for the umpteenth time, but you throw this verification word around like it means something official. Like we can go somewhere and get a verification certificate for something. what you mean by verification, and you flip about, percentages doing it as well, is you mean you need to be able to go and collect that piece of evidence yourself.
No.
You don't have to actually be able to do it, but you need to be able to do it. It needs to be possible for you to do it.
No, it needs to be possible for anyone.
Hold on, let me respond to that.
To go and do it. But you'll flip between you it being possible for you to do it to you actually having to do it, and that's what we'll see.
If we ourselves need to do it. It's that it should be that anyone should be able to do it without appealing to authority.
What does anyone mean?
Mr. Scott, rocket scientist, should be able to verify.
So anyone with the right tools can verify this, then.
Well, then why do people make that claim then if they're just going to believe people?
If anyone has the tools of a spacecraft to go to space, they can do it, right?
No, again, we have tools, we have balloons, we have rockets, we've got amateur rockets.
No, look, percentages standard is anyone with the right tools can verify it. So
that's not what he means, though. You're missing the point now.
That is true. That is true of pictures from the ISS.
No,
and you demonstrate that by even showing propulsion in a vacuum.
Well, that's a whole other issue. So we're talking about. Well, no, we're talking about epistemology at the moment, aren't we? We're talking about what is the standard of verification. You guys are demanding verification. We're talking about what qualifies as verification. And
well, I'm trying to explain it. You're not letting me get through
hold on, let me finish the point. And so far, you said anyone with the right tools needs to be able to go and collect that evidence themselves, and then it's verifiable.
Okay.
And I say that is true of pictures from the ISS.
No, it's slightly different.
So what's your new goalpost shifting standard that you're going to apply now? That one didn't work.
Look, so percent saying again, what I got from that is, Mr. Scott, is that we have to just believe them. So in order not to just believe them, I don't have to do it myself. You don't have to do it yourself. But the people who are saying this have to be able to at least follow the criteria that we asked for. So in order that we don't have to do it ourselves, we say, do it like this, this, and this, and then obviously we'll believe you and we'll stop arguing, and then we can move forward. But you guys say, well, we can't actually verify it in the way you want it. You just have to believe what we tell you, and that's the point.
So now the new goalpost shifted standard of verification.
I mean, I wasn't saying that, but that applies.
Arbitrary rules that you apply whenever and wherever you feel.
No, that's always been the case. We've always had a list. We've always had a criteria. We've always said to you, this is how we want it done. Always. And you guys say, well, why would you want it done like that? You're asking for the impossible.
Well, yeah, because that isn't how it works.
No, that's not what you're saying.
What we do is we collect evidence from the world around us, and from that we draw conclusions. What you're saying is, I'm going to ignore all the evidence from the world around me until the evidence that I specifically demand is provided. And I don't think that's a reasonable way to draw conclusions about reality.
But that's the point. If there was 10 things to convince everybody, you accepted 3 or 4 of those things and said, yep, I believe it because of those 3 or 4 things. And we're saying, well, hold on, what about the rest of these things? And you'll say, well, we don't need to worry about that. Just focus on what we've got, which is we've got the pictures. Someone's took them, obviously, and accept it. That's the evidence that you're saying we have to accept.
No, I'm not.
You're saying that's evidence. You're saying that I'm looking for a way to say I don't believe you.
I'm saying it's evidence. You're saying it's not evidence because it can't be verified. But the only standards that you've given me for verification, the first one I met straight away, and the second one obviously is unreasonable.
Well, then, as percent, then what does he mean by verify it then? Because to me, I don't have to do it myself. I just need Mr. Scott or rocket scientist to provide something the way I've asked him to do it, and then obviously.
Well, he said anyone with the tools can go and collect the evidence, and I think I don't see.
Yeah, anyone with the tools should be able to verify it, provided they're not appealing to authority. Without appealing to authority.
that's the point, though, right? Who would you accept as verifying this thing?
I'd accept anyone.
More prudent question is, who do you accept as authority?
Okay, but that's my question to you, though, because you're saying as long as it's verified, I accept it. But then who's verifying it? Assumedly, it's just you that you're willing to trust as verified these things.
No, not necessarily.
Well, who is it that you're willing to vouch for as being a source that can verify claims?
So if it's been demonstrated to be true, enough people would have done it, you know? Over time, enough people would have done it.
What is enough people, then? That's a good point. So
I don't think it is enough people. I think it's only
that
him.
Depends on your own kind of like, you know, your own threshold.
So what is your threshold?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
So
what is whose threshold? Gabe, you still there?
Yeah.
What is whose threshold?
Well, percentage says there's a threshold. That is, a certain number of people now need to have been able to do this. So
not necessarily. For some people, it might be like, you know, the first time they see something. But the truth of the matter is, if something is completely new, some people are not going to believe it straight away, and some people are, and that it falls into, like, you know, what you kind of agree with or what you feel is authority, and, you know, whether it's actually giving you the benefit of the doubt, too much doubt, or not enough.
I know where the thing's going to be. You know, I'm a nobody from nowhere with a telescope, Australia.
Yeah, and I completely...
I have to point the telescope at the floor to do it.
Yeah, and I completely agree that, you know, seeing Saturn in a telescope is verifiable. Like, there's no issue there.
That's what.
That's
at least one
something a lot of people can do themselves.
And like I said, I don't have to appeal to you know, stellarium or anything to figure out where it is. I can. It helps to figure out where it is and what time it's going to be there. But, you know, I don't have to.
I agree with you completely, man.
Am I not a viable source?
No, that's verifiable information.
Why? Well, there you go.
No, I'm agreeing with you, bro.
No,
that's verifiable information.
Yeah,
because you're not appealing to nothing.
From where I am, the Milky Way at night is fucking awesome. Like, I love going down on the beach, especially when it's starting to get into this period of year. It's like the Milky Way is awesome from here.
Okay. Well, I mean,
I can look at Mars when it's. I can use stellarium to track the planets and everything else, because that's what, you know, we've looked at these things, we've modeled them out, we've figured out where they're going to be at any time. I can also look into the future, even though it hasn't happened yet, with stellarium, and I'll guarantee you that any of the screenshots you can take, if you look into the future with stellarium, you can change the date, and you can go out at night at your location and look up at the sky, like check it out before you go out, you know, then look at. You can point the thing at the stars and tell you where they are. Like,
I know.
Let me just say, in terms of looking at the Milky Way galaxy in your telescope, I've never done it myself, but for the sake of argument, I'll give you the benefit of doubt and say it is, you know, that you can. I believe you that you can say you can do it, and it would be verifiable information in that case. You're not appealing to NASA's authority.
Yeah,
you can do it yourself.
Well, here's the other thing. When I was a kid, I lived in a small country town. We went to one of the big cities for one of our school excursions one year, and we went to the big observatory in Sydney, and that was the first time I saw the rings of Saturn, and it was fucking amazing. It was a high-powered telescope, and we spent, you know, most of the night there looking at different things. It was absolutely, like, just go to one of those places where you can get a high-powered telescope, and they'll zoom in on stuff.
Oh, let's get back to the
ask
trust
people,
factor here, Davros.
Right.
But percent. Yeah. Let's say NASA did everything by the book. They were transparent. Would you doubt them in this case? I mean, is the reason that you doubt them because they're not transparent or they're doing things that are suspicious? What's the reason?
I would say it's relevant, because if they were fully transparent about what they did, then other people could replicate that, and you could, you know, deem it verifiable in that case.
But in what way are they not transparent about? What way are they not fully transparent? I mean, I don't think there's an organization that's more transparent.
Really?
Well, in what way are they not transparent?
Well, are you maintaining that they're fully transparent?
Well, what does fully transparent mean?
Do they say everything that they do with every like thing that they do. Simple
Well,
as
no,
that.
because that would be silly, wouldn't it? Nobody does. You know, at 11 o'clock, the director of flight operations went to the toilet. I mean, of course, they don't say everything that they do.
Okay, so they're not fully transparent. They don't publish in
Well,
like.
well, in that case, nobody is fully transparent, and that's an
probably not.
absurd qualification for something. What would qualify them as being fully transparent? You're literally
it would depend on what you're talking about. It would depend on the context.
You're saying they have to report every single action that everyone that works for them
I never
takes.
once said that because this is what Chemo mentioned. The hypothetical is if they are fully transparent.
Okay, so what is the qualification of fully transparent? Again, this is just a phrase that you throw in there, like verification, like it means something official. Like there's a way for things to qualify to be fully transparent. What does it mean?
Who are you talking to, Jem?
You!
Okay, well, I'm not the one that brought up fully transparent. That was what Chemo mentioned.
You did.
Oh, I kind of did. I kind of did. I just said I was asking a question. I was just asking. I was
goddamn lie.
I was.
You said it. Percentage. You said it.
You said it percent.
Yeah.
I'm sure I said it.
The question posed by Chemo was if they are fully transparent.
Okay.
Up the dryer and turn it on.
But I think maybe Chemo did. If Chemo did use that phrase,
if they are fully transparent, then yes, it would be more. People could replicate it, and it would be more verifiable.
But you said fully transparent.
The argument was what is wrong with the plain vanilla level of transparent. You haven't answered that one.
What's wrong with the current levels of their transparency?
Yeah.
Vanilla.
You're claiming that
that's
they
that's where it went.
They're not
Chemo said
enough that
transparent.
people can replicate the stuff, and
He agreed with
that's
Chemo. He got pushed
authority.
on it, and he said fully transparent.
Well, I was kind of asking the question if, like, where does the doubt come from? Like, for me, I could go through all that. You already know my doubt with NASA, but I'm just saying to percent. Just is it because they're not as open or as clear? Where's the doubt come from? That's what I'm kind of asking him. Yeah.
You know one thing that is fully transparent and that we often discuss? The Cavendish.
You guys, I gotta go for a second.
Oh no.
Here we go. I found NASA's planetary their budget for this year in about 10 seconds.
But that's the thing with NASA. They publish everything.
Yeah.
They publish so much stuff.
Tell you every dollar that is spent basically and what they're spending it on and why they're spending it on it. They're pretty fucking transparent.
I think they are. I think they are. I mean, it has to be said there must be some things they do that they aren't transparent about. If we're being honest, because we know that they support they support the US military in development of technology. So there has to be some stuff.
And they won't tell us about the aliens they found.
Performance reports. There you go. There's another one you can look at.
Look, NASA are well known for never giving a straight answer, right?
No, they're not. You're just saying that. Chemo, you're just pulling that out of your ass. That is
Are you the
not.
pot or the kettle, Chemo?
I'll find it in about 5 seconds.
Straight answers from you, mate.
What do you need? I've given you 2 bits already. What would you like?
I mean, we've got NASA here in this server, and we never get a straight answer. That's the point.
That's rich coming from you, though.
So, for example, if Mr. Scott and rocket scientists were more transparent, okay, and bringing their colleagues to the flat Earth community to settle the matter, I think that's what we're asking for, is more transparency, you see? And these guys you seem to be very secretive.
There is already a reasonable level of transparency.
You should strive to be what you ask for, Spurs.
It's not about me.
More transparent, mate.
Very open.
They're open, yes.
No, because we've been asking them to put
But why ask if you already know? Why the fuck do you ask the question?
No, I said no, but we've been asked. Or I might say no, but the point is we've been asking them to put an astronaut
you
suit.
said you don't even know what you are saying now, are you?
Well, we're asking for an astronaut suit to be put in a vacuum chamber, and they refuse to do it.
Your argument is so convoluted; it's folded in on itself, and you can't even keep your place in your script, can you?
Why can't they meet our challenge of putting someone in the vacuum chamber in an astronaut suit?
Your challenge is unreasonable.
Right.
No, it's not. It's a very simple endeavour.
It is. Because you have no expertise in the relevant field to verify whether it's...
That's the kind of transparency we're talking about, because we know, they know, if this ever happens, they're going to fail and prove the Earth is not a globe. This is the point. And that's
This is a way for you to ignore evidence. It's a way for you to say, I'm going to ignore everything until this unreasonable thing is on the table. This unreasonable thing that I know is never going to be produced, and why should it? Then it allowed me then to ignore everything else. And like I said before, this is not a reasonable way to draw conclusions about reality. A reasonable way is to look at reality, look at the evidence that it presents, and draw a conclusion from that.
Yeah, but what came first, the flat Earth or the globe? So it seems to me that you guys are looking for excuses of a way to say, I don't believe it's flat.
No, I've just posted.
You see,
NASA testing
and you know, everyone can see that it's flat, and because of mathematics and equations is why you refuse to believe that it's flat.
Posted you what you asked for: NASA testing a spacesuit. Right there. Just have to unblock me for a second.
No, that's not what we asked for. We want Mark Sargent and an astronaut in a vacuum chamber.
You wanted to see NASA testing a spacesuit. I've just posted you a video of NASA.
No, we don't want NASA testing the suit. Again,
Mark Sargent and what?
Again, you see, we have a criteria, we have a list, and you go and change the list. That's the point of what I thought Percent was saying.
Hang on, Cypher.
Anyone?
Hang on, guys. What did you say? You want Mark Sargent and what, Spurs?
An astronaut in a vacuum chamber in the suits together.
Well, we can give you James May.
You mean both of them in the same suit, or in a suit each?
Yeah, they can make a designer suit if they want.
But he's already set the standard now. It's got to be Mark Sargent. I mean, this, you know, how can, like I say, it's silly.
Why?
How can you ask?
You can draw. The rest of the time, you draw conclusions about reality from the evidence it presents. You don't just ignore it all and say, I need this piece of evidence to draw a particular conclusion about reality. That's silly.
No, that's verification. That's verifying. That's not just believing what you've been told. Because let's think about this. Again, we've been told something happens in reality. Now, we can either A, just believe what we've been told, or B, check what's actually been said, and then just verify if they're telling the truth or not. That's normal. Very simple. Not a big deal. What's the secret? That's what we're trying to figure out, is why are you hiding something from us?
Why don't you get in a spacesuit and test it, Chemo, since you're so adamant that you...
Because I know it won't work. If you get into a vacuum with a spacesuit, you're going to die.
So you're willing to put Mark's life on the line for it, are you?
No, but I mean...
Well, none of us have a problem with that, though, right?
No, that's not the point. Mark, obviously, by the end of the day, he won't do it. But I'm just saying that just to get the idea done, so we can attempt to do it, and to see what happens. So obviously, the astronaut will get in it first, and then Mark will follow, obviously.
But why? Well, yeah, but why would Mark do that? Because if he really believes what he's saying, the last thing he would do is get in a vacuum chamber in one of these spaces,
after the astronaut, of course he would. If it's successful with the astronaut, he'll just jump straight in. It's like, can you get into a water that's boiling hot? You know, and it's like, well, you get in it first.
He's absolutely convinced that a spacesuit cannot work in a vacuum, and that if he was in one, he would die. So why would he do that? He would never do that if he actually believed it.
No, he wouldn't do. He's going to watch the astronaut fail, and then he's going to say, well, I'm not going to do that, am I?
I just watched the video that guy posted about the spacesuit. It had nothing to do with a vacuum. It was just range of motion, how to put it on, and all that. So
busted Cypher.
Seen one tested in a vacuum, I don't think.
See, Cypher, I didn't even need to block that because it wasn't even what we asked for.
Hang on, I can get you one where there's a bottle of water.
Oh, no, you can get one.
So, yeah, hang on.
I thought you just posted one.
Oh, no.
There's another one.
I don't hear Curve. I don't hear Curve piping up and say you lied. I don't hear Curve piping up saying you lied yet. So
but Raki, let's not get off topic. Maybe you can answer this. Do you doubt NASA? Why? Are they transparent enough for you? Is there a way? What could they do more for you to believe them?
They seem to be open in what money they're spending where. They just don't seem to be open and honest in everything they're doing. But I mean, they could just be, the numbers are easy, right? They're taking in so much money, they're spending it here. I could do that.
Yeah, but there's the one you were looking for.
Good, I'll watch it. Is it the one that failed? I've seen one where they go in there and the guy almost dies.
This one's, you can tell it's in a vacuum because the bottle of water that's sitting in front of the glass window there explodes.
Sitting on a stove?
No. Wow.
Yeah, we've been through this one, Cypher.
I don't have to look at that. That's where
Spurs has completely debunked it.
Top Gear guys is in there. Is that the one? Yeah. With a little cooker on there, little cooker hiding the bottle.
But how would you not be saying all of these things if Mark Sargent went and did it?
Because Mark Sargent would go in with the body cam, right? There'd be cameras everywhere, in and out the place, all over. Again, we know how to verify things, so everyone's satisfied. Everybody would be pleased with the result.
Like FE Corps did when they did their experiment?
No, I'm saying when we do it together, you've got Mark and the astronaut together. When do you see flat earthers and globe earthers in harmony?
It's supposed to be the scientific, community of flat earth, isn't it? So why isn't their experiment?
That's why when Rumpus goes to do his little experiment, we'll trottle on down there and we'll be like, right, Rumpus, make sure you get it right, make sure everything's in order. If that ever happens.
Completely ignoring the FE Corps thing, isn't it?
Hey, Chemo. That video that he just posted is the one where the 2 Air Force guys were in there without a face shield in a vacuum with the water boiling, so their face didn't boil. So I guess that was the one he showed. That was in
one guy in there in a suit.
No, it's 2 other guys in there. They even state their names. They show it. They show the door being closed, the vacuum being pulled, and those 2 guys are in there without face shields. That one's been debunked. No. Got anything else?
No,
so what we're looking for, Mr. Scott?
That way at a first glance, but if you look closely, you see that they actually leave.
So again, we just have to believe you, right? And
I'll go watch it again just to make sure I wasn't delusional when I saw the 2 guys get shut in the door with the guy in the spacesuit with their Air Force helmets on. All they had on.
Well, you are delusional, but that's a secondary matter, really, isn't it?
If I remember right, Rocky, the trick has to do with a helmet. Maybe something that looks like a helmet being on the desk, and it's not really a helmet or something.
Yeah, and you can see where
definitely not in spacesuits.
You can see where the woman places the bottle of water down, and there's nothing underneath it.
She definitely places water in there, but the other 2 guys stay in there without spacesuits, without face shields. So how's that possible?
Yeah, I'll watch it again and see where the point is that you can see.
Rakia has proven the Earth's flat again. Well done, Rakia. I bet you I can debunk that in 15 seconds because I'll think about it, which is more than you do.
There's no one else in that room with him when that water boils.
He's by himself by the look of it. Yeah. The guys are in there when the door closes, but when they draw the vacuum, I don't think they're in there.
Yeah, he's not in there. And you can tell by looking at the bottle of water when it's placed down in front of the window that it doesn't get any higher when it boils because it's got the same height from the neck from looking from the other side as it does from inside. So no, it wasn't on a cooker, Spurs. Sorry, you guys want to try again?
Those two guys in the with the helmets, without the face shields, they come in and out from another door. That's probably where you got confused.
Yeah,
there's
and
a
they're
door on
not
the
in
other
there.
side of the room.
Yeah, not in there when the water starts to boil.
Yeah, they're not.
You were saying Rakia and Spurs?
Anyway, let's sort it out.
It's easy to see why
I'm
you
saying,
think on a first glance. I remember.
I'm saying when they're showing the water boiling, the guy's helmet is right there. He's sitting down to the left of the water bottle.
No,
We're watching two different videos.
That's not a guy.
That's not the guy.
No, that's not. That's not.
Oh, that's
the guy,
not the
mate.
guy that they locked in there.
That's not
And
a
then
guy. No.
Not the same helmet.
No, I know what you're talking about. I thought that was a helmet
Yeah.
too, but I don't think it is.
Oh, it's not a helmet.
Oh, if it is a helmet, there's no
just
head
saying,
in
right?
it.
Oh, okay.
anyone,
So
no.
they unlocked the door, let him out after they showed the door locking, and then them turning the valve.
Well,
No, there's door on. There's two doors, mate.
There's two doors.
The door the camera films is the one we see, but there's a door on the other side of the room. When you see the well, you can see the door actually, because that part of the film where you talk about seeing the helmet through the glass and the bottle. If you look to the right, there's a door behind that pillar.
I got you. So they edited the video because when they shut the door and turned the valve right after.
Well, of course they edit the video.
Yeah, of course.
There's cuts all over the place.
I got you. So that helmet is not a helmet.
Yeah, but they weren't up to trickery editing the video, if that's what you mean.
Well, I'm just saying the two guys were in there. They shut the door, then they turned the valve, and then when the
No.
you
You missed a step. The two guys are in there. They shut the door. The two guys go out the other door. Then they turn the valve.
I never see that. Show that part. Give me a timestamp on that part.
They have to be because they're not in the room.
What's the timestamp was? Come on.
Saying that you saw it.
Rakia, do you see
What?
a person in that room when the water is boiling?
I see the helmet, and I never
You
see
see the
guys
back of
leave.
the helmet, mate.
Do you see a?
Do you see a face? Do you see a face in that helmet, mate?
No, but I'm not the one saying.
So
that.
you're making a presupposition.
No,
Why
I'm
are you
not.
making a
I'm telling
presupposition?
you what we see in the video. You see two guys.
No, you
in
see
there,
the back
door
of
shut.
a back of a circular object that could be a
that's
helmet.
what I said. Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, but you don't know
I
there's a
didn't
head
lie.
in there.
I didn't say anything that was a lie or whatever you said. You said you think.
No, it's the way you implied it, mate.
They must have gone out the back door.
I thought the same things you did, right? Yeah, I'll tell you what convinced me. It's when you watch that video in normal speed. After a while, you realize that helmet is not moving one bit. Like it's just rock solid the entire time. And you realize, oh, there's no person there. That's just it's whatever it is just resting on a table because it's too still.
It's resting on the same bench that the bottle of water is.
Cool.
So you're good now. There's no one in the room.
Like if you look at where they put the bottle, that bench runs the length of that window to the other end. That's where the helmet is resting on. It's the bench.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But Rakia, why would you assert there's someone in the room when there's not shown to be?
Because it'll smash all his dreams if there was.
You mean when they show the video? No, it doesn't. Even if there wasn't anybody in the room, doesn't mean that was a true video. So anyway,
there you go.
They never show the guys leaving the room.
The dream still holds.
They never show the guys
why do you disbelieve? Why would you disbelieve that video? What is it about that video you think is not easy to believe?
You mean that one video, or
There's been 4 or 5 posts.
Why don't I believe that?
Or even just the concept or even just the concept of what's going on in the video is what I'm asking. Why disbelieve?
Anyway,
hold on, let me just ask a question. Why disbelieve the concept of a vacuum, and why do you think there isn't a chamber where they can pump things out? And there can be somebody sitting there with a pressurized suit. Like what's hard to believe about all that?
How much?
There's been 4 or 5 different examples posted up.
Come on, this guy's just going to extreme lengths to hold up his belief.
So like the claim that there's no footage of spacesuits being tested that you guys were claiming earlier, not true.
I'm just genuinely interested. Like, why is that a hill to die on for you, Rakia?
I was just critiquing the video.
I understand what you're doing. I'm just asking, like, why?
Well, I think he's saying he's not dying on the hill. He's going to bend the hill before he has to die on it. If it came to that. Okay.
He's got his shovel and he's trying to flatten the hill, mate.
Dig up, stupid.
I'll watch it again and see what you're saying about the helmet. I didn't see it move either, so that's a good point.
Oh, and also, I think you can see it when the two guys are standing in there. You can see it in there already too. It's already sitting there. I think if you look closely in one of the early shots.
I do want to point out the double standard though. So if I'm showing that video as proof and there's no video of the two guys exiting the back door, and I say that, y'all jump all over that, but it's kind of weird.
You're a known liar, so yeah.
I wouldn't say.
Yeah, there it is. And NASA's not, or the government's not, right?
I don't think you're a known liar, but
I'm happy saying that.
I think you're severely mistaken, mate.
Yeah, that could be it. Oh, look at Curve. The first thing I did was log on this morning. The first thing Curve says, "You're a liar," and guess what? He was wrong. Good job, Curve.
What would they? What would be wrong here? We would all agree that they can make a vacuum in that chamber, right? We would all agree that the water would boil.
A known liar.
And we would all agree that NASA, if you think they're liars, would not leave two guys without freaking spacesuits on in there to just stand around in a vacuum, in a supposed vacuum, right? How are they lying?
Problem with the boiling water and all that. I was just critiquing the video, like I said. Again, y'all didn't listen.
They're not going to show you a couple of guys surviving a vacuum.
We're just showing you how your critique is wrong, mate.
Yeah, maybe so. I still don't see two guys leaving the room. And I do see what appears to be a helmet.
Yes, what appears to be a helmet. You can leave a freaking bicycle in there. That does not make it, footage of somebody.
Never see his face. Never see him moving around. He's definitely not walking around.
Or maybe you could be more thorough the next time you investigate and critique a video. That's probably a good thing you've learned from this. You're not thorough enough. Nice
no,
work,
it's
man.
still my critique. It's still my critique. They shut the door with the two guys in there for whatever reason. So y'all are saying they go out a back door, which doesn't make sense. And then they turn the valve right after, like the next frame, showing they're pulling a vacuum. And then when they show the boiling water, which is another cut, there's a helmet right there.
So there's a picture through the window off what you think is the helmet before they go in the room. This is before the door's closed.
So my critique of your critique is you're not thorough enough when you critique. Thank you.
My critique of your critique of his critique, Boomer, is that you weren't critical enough.
Hey, one question.
My critique of your critique of my critique.
When they turn that valve,
very good.
When they turn that valve, what are those guys in?
Sucking the air out of the room.
Whereabouts?
Sucking the air out of what?
The room.
The
room the guy in the spacesuit is in.
Container.
Oh, so you've got to go to that. Okay.
Well, no, you have to have a container to have a vacuum, right? Would you agree with that?
On Earth.
Nope.
On Earth, yes.
On Earth, yes.
On Earth.
On Earth.
Well, that's where they are, right? They're on Earth. In a container.
Yeah, but why do they have to have a container?
Tell it like it is.
Yeah, they're on Earth because Earth has atmosphere, right? And they have to have a container. Why?
Sure.
Because
they're on Earth.
Because the atmosphere will rush in to fill the vacuum that you try to create.
That's what happens. That's why a vacuum cleaner sucks stuff. Like it moves air from one space to another. And the vacuum of space isn't a vacuum
That's
cleaner.
just the difference in
The
pressure.
vacuum of space isn't a vacuum cleaner, Rakia. That's the difference.
Listen,
Space
it's the
doesn't
same
clean up.
concept. You know how they develop a vacuum?
If you're in
It's difference
space,
in pressure.
pressurized container and you get a hole in your pressurized container, the air's going to rush out. It's not going to get sucked out. It's going to go from the pressurized container outwards because there's nothing outside it. So it's going to try to fill the empty space that it's suddenly exposed to.
Vacuum motor is just creating a difference in pressure. Is all it's doing.
Yes,
So the air rapidly rushes from one area to another, and that motion creates a sucking motion. Yeah.
So
that's the same thing. Difference in pressure.
No, Rakia, Venturi forces is not as what you call a sucking motion as Venturi forces, and that is not the case in a vacuum chamber.
we really don't need this. Not
in that vacuum chamber where that guy is in that spacesuit, if that window broke all of a sudden, what would happen?
Air would rush in.
Yep, very quickly, right? What about the girl sitting there? Was she rush into?
You know, her hair might get ruffled, but she's not
that big.
Yeah, like a vacuum.
Yeah, it'd be over very quickly. There'd be a loud bang. You'd see the glass shatter, and people's hair might get ruffled, but that's about it.
That's your critique.
That's what'll happen.
Oh, thanks, Wolfgang. I was going to post that picture. There's a picture of the guy standing in the opposite door, so quite clearly there's two doors being used.
Fucking funny, that.
Leads out. It just looks like it's another little area.
Yeah, with a doorway.
What would it be?
It's an opening in the container.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it has a door, though. It's just a little
Yeah, and you
area.
can actually see the helmet sitting on the shelf right there in it as well. Ooh, whoops.
So what are you saying? That's just a door? Oh, a doorway with no door.
No, I don't see the door, do you? I mean, it's a pretty big
Yeah,
door.
I do. Hang on, I'll show you.
Standing in.
I got you.
Like the guy with the helmet.
Well, like I said,
Rectangle.
we're debating something that it could be a door. I give that up.
What's the point of the sea lining exercise here, Rakia?
I don't know. Y'all brought it up. I do like water. I am fixing to take a hot bath. How's that for information? And just
Too
so
much.
you, and
Make
just
sure
so
you get
know,
out.
And just so you know, I'm not lying. I'll draw the water while I'm on the phone. Hear it?
And there's a picture of the door closed on the other side, mate.
Not only is it a picture of that, it's a picture of one of the guys that was wearing the mask earlier in the video. Now he's sitting outside of the room without anyone. So you may not have seen him actually go through a door, but there he is outside of the room.
Whoopsie.
So that last picture where they're showing the water bottle and that green thing to the left's got like a dent in it. It must have been deflated. It must have been like the other balloon experiment, because when we see it in the video, it's looks like a helmet. Right there, it's got a dent. See what I'm saying? So that must have been another object they were inflating, like testing. No,
Okay,
I'm supporting y'all. Look at the picture above it.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It looks like it's got a triangular dent on it.
It might be a shadow. They might
It
be
looks like
testing
it's
a
just the way it's
helmet or
molded.
something.
Don't
No,
know what it is.
yeah, no, you're right. It's something showing through. In
It
fact,
might
it
be
looks
a
like
shadow or a dent, but they might have been testing the
shadow.
helmet, and when they vacuumed it, it increased the like the balloon blowing up. You know, the rubber glove or whatever they put over there.
that's just the angle of the camera. No, it's definitely the same bottle. I'm looking at the lid.
Or maybe it's two different. No, it's just like the same thing. I was gonna say maybe they took two different videos.
I think it's just the angle, mate.
Might be a shadow.
Oh, no, it's there when you go look at it at the beginning of the video.
Taken all these from that one video.
It's just the angle.
The video angle's different.
Yeah.
Wolfgang's asking, can someone circle it?
But the first time we went through this, Spurs said the bottle was on a hot plate to make it boil.
Yep.
And there was a valve blowing up the glove in the back of the room. What do you think of them apples, Rakia?
I noticed Chemo's been suspiciously quiet as well.
Do you think that's conceivable? He might have his head underwater right now in his bathtub.
There's professional courtesy amongst slumps. They don't criticise each other even when they know each other's faults. The honour among thieves thing.
I'm still lost.
He's probably reeling after the
one guy that doesn't understand why you need a container to create a vacuum within like 14.7 psi atmospheric pressure. I mean, this is like just below bottom of the barrel stupid.
Agreed.
First of all, why wouldn't you just have a balloon dangling in the middle of the room? Why is it all attached to the walls like props? Just television, guys. Nowhere.
That's so it hides the valve, Spurs.
No, I'm saying when we look
that
at the
blows
wall,
it up, you know, the valve that blows up the balloon, the hand glove.
You can see a valve right behind the balloon.
Yeah,
but
that's why they got there to cover.
Why wouldn't they have this dangling in the middle of the room on a string? Exactly, and why not have the bottle where this other bottle is?
Well, like
they're dangling it off the wall, mate. Where do you dangle yours?
And yeah, like I said earlier, you can tell when she places the bottle down there, looking at it from that direction where she puts it down, the same amount is being shown either way you look at it, from inside or outside the room. So it's not any higher in that shot there than it was when she places it on the bench.
What's that blue thing behind or next to the balloon was? 1 minute 14.
Yeah, I was trying to work out what that was. I'm not sure.
That's a bottle of liquid, isn't it?
No, I don't know. I doubt it because it doesn't seem to change.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why isn't that bubbling, that blue liquid?
I'm looking at it. Hang on.
It might not be liquid, but I'm just saying it looks like.
No, I don't think it is.
Definitely looks like a bottle of liquid was. What's going on?
I don't know what that is.
I don't
know what it is.
Hard to say. But yeah, you can see that balloon.
I mean, I don't want to make any. You don't want to be making presuppositions, though, do you?
Yeah, we don't know what that is. It does look like
so let's just leave that for now.
It does look like a bottle, though.
I mean, I'm sure you could find actual details about the test if it was from the BBC. So maybe look it up and do
look. It looks like a
research
bottle of liquid. It looks flat.
Yeah, I'm still curious to know how close Saddam was.
Verifying this was. Why did you believe it? Did you believe it just because?
Well, same sort of vein, Chemo. How close was Saddam to releasing his information on Flat Earth? You going to tell us that one?
Look, hold on a second, Cypher. They cut the camera with the bottle, so they show you. It's just television was like when they cut from one scene to another scene. So they show the bottle on the table, then cut. That's not how you would verify it. Trying to satisfy curious people. That's not how you would do it.
They weren't trying to satisfy curious people. They're testing a spacesuit.
I mean, we've seen this hundreds of times. This video here.
Yeah, and we've just gone through it yet again and then shown to you that the shit that you kept saying about it is wrong.
So all these mistakes are deliberate and hid in plain sight. Is that what you're getting at?
Well, they got the bottle of liquid.
Or do you think they're mistakes? They're mistakes in their television production. Are they deliberately making these mistakes as a joke and hiding stuff in plain sight, or are they just genuine production mistakes?
So they like to leave clues to say, like, we told
clues.
But why would they?
We're looking for clues. Ooh, we're looking for clues. All right, let's look for
They're
clues.
spending all this money, Spurs, to hide this shit. You'd think that you'd expect a little professionalism from the companies that are doing it, wouldn't you? I mean, if I was spending that sort of money, I would be demanding top quality product. I wouldn't accept, shit like that if that was a mistake. But, I'm a stickler for details, so
They're not
there's that.
mistakes. You just said they're not mistakes.
Aha, busted. So look what happened when...
They're clues now.
Timestamp.
Hold on, just double...
They're clues now.
So the balloon burst, and... Hold on, let me... Oh, it's something of... But there are too many cuts to make any correct assertions. Way too.
There's too many for you, mate.
Yeah, it's just not satisfying. And that's the kind of transparency we're talking about. So if they could have shown this without any cuts, cameras get a selection of what angle you want to look at.